What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new video. Today, we're going to be talking about making $74,000 per month with Redbubble. Now, I haven't made $74,000 a month. I actually know somebody that happened to do that. And first of all, before I begin the video, this is a story time video. I want to go ahead and tell you guys a story about exactly what the title states. But before I get into that, there was a comment of somebody who said, are there people doing well and things like that on Redbubble? And I answered back and I said, sure, there's people, doing very well on Redbubble. There's people who are doing, over 100,000 a month on Redbubble. And somebody commented and he said, how do you know that there are people doing over 100,000 a month? Have you ever seen somebody do over 100,000 a month? Have you ever seen the proof? And I said, no, I've never seen the proof of somebody doing over 100,000 a month, but they exist all over Redbubble. I mean, there are some really, really large accounts on Redbubble, large companies that own multiple accounts, and Redbubble as a whole has just in the last year generated over $550 million. And being the 10th largest website in the arts category of the whole entire internet in all of the world is a pretty big thing. So it's not, hard to believe that people can make over 100,000 a month on Redbubble. At the end of the day, for certain people, 100,000 a month is peanuts for some people, which is crazy to believe, but it's kind of crazy. But I want to tell you guys a story about $74,000 a month on Redbubble. So one day I was at the gym, and I went into the locker room after I work out, just like any other day, and I saw this guy who was wearing a ClickFunnels shirt. And usually, guys, I'm the type of guy where I just keep to myself. I don't really talk to people. But for some reason, I had this feeling inside of me that I had to say something. And so I went up to the guy and I said, "Oh, nice shirt. Like you know about ClickFunnels?" And we got talking. And I kind of learned that he uses ClickFunnels for his business. And, I kind of wanted to gauge what kind of business person was he. Was he like a super successful person, or was he just like, kind of like a beginner, or kind of what the aspect was? So I was basically probing him, asking questions, didn't want to get too deep. And we kept things light, just asking basic questions and talking back and forth. And you guys know how small talk is. And then time after time going to the gym, I haven't seen this person in months. And I'll see him like maybe once every 4 months or something like that. And then, each time I see that same guy, and mind you, he's probably in his late 30s, maybe like 38, 39, right? We got to talking, and we were talking about certain, aspects in business, and the conversation just struck right away. He asked me, like, how are you doing with your work and your business, and, I was talking, and he'll give me, like, different recommendations, and we'll talk back and forth about things, and very quickly, I realized what kind of status this person had, and it was above average, extremely above average. And one day we were both finishing up our workouts and we were going to our parked cars, and he went to like this side, and he had this car that was a Bentley truck. It was like a brand new Bentley truck. It was the one that just came out, I think like in 2020 or something like that. And this was the same time when Lamborghini released their truck and all that. And I said, wow, I found out he did Amazon because he told me. And I said, did Amazon pay for that car? And he said, no, this is one of my side projects. Like one of my side projects paid for this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what do you sell on Amazon anyway? And I asked him, and he told me fireplaces. I actually told you guys about this guy before. And come to find out, he was telling me that his fireplace business, that he sells fireplaces on Amazon, makes over $12.5 million a quarter on Amazon. A quarter, meaning every 3 months in the calendar year, it does $12.5 million. And I was gobsmacked. At this time, guys, I wasn't as successful as I am today, but I was pretty successful. Meaning I was doing well for myself. I was making money for myself. I was self-employed, I guess you could say. But I never really thought about numbers that large. This guy's talking about over $40 million a year just from one project. And I don't know how we got to talking, but I met him again later that week. And we were talking about Amazon, and we were talking about how he's getting into this coloring niche, this clothing coloring niche, and basically like he sells coloring books and education about coloring books and things like that. And he has like his own company, not on Amazon, but his own company. And we were kind of talking, and I was asking questions, and I brought up the subject of Redbubble. And I said to him, "Are you familiar with Redbubble?" And he's like, "No, what is that?" And I pulled up my phone, and I showed him what Redbubble was, and I explained the concept to him. And what's very interesting to me is the dynamic of the conversation shifted right away. And this is the first time I realized, guys, what a true shark is like in business. A true shark knows exactly what to do at the right times. And he stayed quiet, even though I was the younger one and I was explaining information to him. If anything, it should have been the other way around. And I was explaining like kind of how Redbubble works, and he just, kept nodding and listening. And, I thought that was the end to the conversation. And I hadn't seen him in months at this point. Months go by. I'm doing my thing at the gym, and there I see him at night. And I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And the first thing he says to me is, "Hey, man, I've been doing Redbubble." And I'm kind of like, "Wait, what?" Like, almost like he had been waiting to say that. Almost like he had been prepared to say that. Because a lot of the times when I give suggestions to people, they'll just be like, yeah, that's great. And they'll shrug it off. And even on, in real life or, online or whatever the case may be, it just gets shrugged off, which is normal. I mean, not everything works for everybody, but this guy was a true shark. This guy picked up on it right away. And believe it or not, he had an account on Redbubble. And when I saw his account, he was doing something like 12 grand a month, like right there. And I was like, wow, how'd you get started so fast? It's almost like a few months. I haven't seen you, and you already got going. And he said, "Well, yeah, man. I mean, the day you told me about it, I was really inspired and really motivated, and I hired a few people, and I got things going." And I was like, "Wow, that's incredible. That's really special." And mind you, at this point, it's like 8 months ago. Okay. Now, what happened is time kind of passed by over time, and I just saw him very recently, maybe about a month ago, and he comes up to me from the distance. I didn't see him. I was doing cardio on the elliptical. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, man, I've been working on Redbubble." And he gets on the cardio machine next to me. And I said, "Yeah, what about, what's going on? How's it going?" And he said, "Man, we're doing pretty good this month." And he pulls out his phone, and he has his account saved right on his phone, and it said $74,000. Now, it wasn't a flat 74,000. It was like 74 and some change. And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "Is that for the year?" And he's like, no, it's just for this month. And I was starting to ask questions now. I was like, okay, well, how'd you get there? What did you do? Now, mind you guys, I'm still thinking small. I'm thinking in my category, my lane, right? Where I do something, I make a little passive income here and there, I make a few dollars. This guy is an absolute baller, right? He's on a different level. He's making 74 grand a month off Redbubble. And I said, "Well, how'd you do it? Like, let me know. Like, cause I'm an amateur here, like, compared to you. I'm nothing, right? I don't even exist. I'm not even a cockroach compared to you." And he said, "It's really simple. I just hired 2 people as managers, and their job was to learn everything about they possibly could. Take every course, learn every single thing that they could possibly do. And then they have a whole 30 days to do it. And then after they learn it, their job is to go out there and hire 14 other people. And those 14 divided into 2 groups, 7 and 7, where one manager is responsible for 7 people. And together, they're all one team, right? So 2 managers and 14 employees, and they're all responsible for the growth of that single Redbubble account. And mind you, he only had it on one account. And so there it was, 74,000. And mind you, they had over like 30,000 designs on Redbubble. And so I was asking questions. And basically what the moral of the story is a few things. I want to go ahead and share what the moral of the story is. First of all, and this is kind of my mistake, but I should have been more introspective. I should have learned more. I should have put my pride to the side. And from that point on, guys, I learned truly what a shark is and what they do at a moment. And when I say a shark, I'm not referring to the Shark Tank, but I'm referring to the winners of life. The winners of life are very observant. They learn very, very quickly. They don't really ask many questions for minutia details. They dive deep on where it is important. They go straight for the kill. When I just mentioned this concept of Redbubble, there wasn't too much discussion about it between me and him. Like I said, I thought it was just something that was going to be just shrugged off. Like it is like it's small talk. But he took that small information that I gave him and he used it to the point where, I mean, you could argue he's probably one of the most successful people on the platform. Now, in the gym that I go to, we're in New York, so you get people from all walks of life. You get the very most successful who are driving Lamborghinis, and then you get the kids who are the bottom of the barrel, where I once was, driving their mom's 1997 year car, that's older than I am, or, was older than I am, and has more miles than any other car on the road, barely sticking together. You know what I'm saying? And what I've learned from that is like, when certain people are in the room, you just got to stay quiet. And I actually have to remind myself of this is every day of like, no matter what you accomplished, as me as a person, I'm not talking about you guys, but for me, and I'm just thinking out loud here, no matter what I accomplished on any platform, anything, there's always going to be the big dogs out there, and I'm not a big dog. And not that I can't be one day, but there are certain people who are true killers in this industry. And when I say killers, I don't mean something negative. I just mean they go for the win. They go for the kill, and they do it big. And they know how to do it big, fast. I mean, it wasn't nothing but like, a few months, if you think about it, probably less than 20 months from inception to him getting at that level very, very, very quickly. I mean, ridiculously quickly. And the thing that I want to say is like, man, I was not only so inspired by it, but I was gobsmacked. I was almost shaken in a way to where I started questioning myself. I started questioning like what I was doing. I was like, am I doing something wrong here? And then I realized something else. And this is what my dad taught me actually. And he said, everybody's on a certain level. You can't compare yourself to somebody else. You can look from the distance and say he's doing good or she's doing good and she's very successful or he's very successful. But you can't try to replicate exactly what that person is doing because that person has a different understanding of the world than you do. Right? They're older, they have more experience, they have whatever. Now, it's good to try to gain success, but if you go after exactly what that they have or what they're going for, you're probably not going to be successful because you're not exactly that person. You have to carve almost your own kind of way, parallel to that person. So when he means parallel, and this is what my dad says, is that you're next to that person, but you're making your own road. You're making your own path. You're not following their path. You're not walking behind their footsteps. You're kind of in your own road, your own pathway, but you're making your own road, which I found to be very interesting. And I realized that it was a very introspective moment in my life, because at that point, guys, and I'll just be honest, in my personal life, in the life that I was living, I hadn't known anybody who kind of, and I hate to be like prideful, and I'm not trying to be prideful at all, but I'm saying like who had made it the way I had. No offense to anybody. I'm not trying to be prideful or braggadocious or any way. But you have to remember, I came from a family where, especially, family of immigrants, parents think that like school is the way. And school probably is the way for a lot of people. And there was almost this brainwashing mentality, and I thought that it was the way too, but the second I, entered college, I knew something was up. I didn't feel comfortable whatsoever. But with that being said, is like, there are certain pathways for certain people, and you can't compare yourself to other people. You can only be inspired and kind of carve your own road. Now, with that being said, I didn't really ask him for his phone number. I didn't ask him for his contact information. He doesn't even know I'm doing this video. But with that being said, I think that, all of us, we see certain levels of success on the internet. We see certain levels of people. And the thing is let's not distract ourselves from where we're at. Let's try to focus on ourselves. And just because some other people can catch on really quick, maybe they have a high IQ, maybe they have the resources to build certain businesses, doesn't really mean that that we should be chasing the same thing, if I meant to say. Like, and once again, I'm going to use my dad's examples again. He says, when you're going up the staircase, you just can't take one step and then skip 6 steps. every step, you have to take every step in order, right? From the bottom to the top. And for that person, he already did some necessary steps before in his previous years of business or experiences that got him to that point quicker. And honestly, this is what I'm really thankful for, that, that older wisdom and things that I just don't understand and I can't wrap my head around is, it's really beneficial to have somebody older than you teaching you kind of like the ways of life. But I just figured I'd share the story. I think, I don't really have much to say about this story other than the actual story. But and as you guys could tell, I'm probably not a good storyteller, but I think in general, when it comes down to making money, you can't rush the process. If you try to do it, you're gonna lose where you're at, and it's important, like I said, not to compare yourself to others and just stay focused on the right path. I'm gonna keep making these tips and tutorials and progress reports and income reports and things like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and this little story, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace out, bye.